We've got our 2022 KLX300R, and today we are going to be throwing on an FMF Powercore4. So stick around, hopefully it'll be a quick install. All right, we've got the FMF Powercore4. We did a FMF Q4 on the other bike. We liked it a lot. We just wanted to check out the difference with the Powercore, see the sound difference and the performance difference. You get a removable spark arrestor in this kit, some stickers, and a little bracket to install it. Really basic tools to do this, some metric Allen wrenches, metric sockets, real simple. So I'm going to set the camera up and get going. All right, first things first, the seat comes off with a 5mm Allen. We'll get this seat off and get the that side plastic right out of the way. On the Q4 we did, there was a couple little hiccups. The alignment's a little different on, the FMF. It doesn't line up exactly the same as the stock exhaust. So we'll see if the Powercore4 is the same. We used a separate little bolt that we had kicking around for the Q4. But hopefully this one works out a little nicer. Oops, I gotta get that one. Same thing here. It's a 5mm on that. Just make sure you don't lose those little washers. And then this just slides apart. All right, now that that's out of the way, I'll give you a closer look at what we're dealing with here. So there's a flange here with a bolt, really simple. There is almost like, it's not lead these days, but almost like a leaded insert in there. It's a really soft metal. And so for the FMF to mount up, the FMF is a bigger diameter on the muffler. So for the FMF to line up, this little insert had to come out on ours. These bolts, like I say, the FMF lined up a little differently on the mounting tabs. So we're gonna see if that's the same on this. These ones are a little funky, almost have like an anti-vibration, like a little hard rubber plastic piece in there. So we're gonna see if those need to be aligned a little differently, but we'll get this popped off and keep going. I think these are all 12mm on this. Actually, there's a nut to hold on the back. This one doesn't have a nut on the back. Now the biggest reason we looked into changing these is because the stock exhaust gets super hot, dangerously hot. This muffler, the stock muffler, almost has like a catalytic converter chamber that's just designed to get super hot and burn off any impurities, I'm assuming. And because of that, the entire muffler body gets super hot. And and we've got we're gonna have some smaller riders on these, and we don't want the type of situation where the bike tips over on them and they can't get out from underneath it or something. So we're gonna change these right out. It's not worth the risk on these. Now this should just slide out. You might have to twist it a little bit if you can. So there's the stock. And with the FMF exhaust too on the Q4, we did a weight difference on that, and all the FMF mufflers are going to be way lighter than stock. These things they're pretty heavy, and it's a lot of weight up high on the bike too. So getting rid of that will help with our smaller riders as well. Now, like I say, the diameter on this FMF is bigger than the stock, and I haven't even looked at this one yet. But yeah, that insert's definitely going to have to come out. We had a little bit of issues pulling this out on the other bike. It's just such a soft metal, but we'll see if we can grab a hold of this one and yank it out. All right, we're gonna try to pop this thing out. Like I say, on the Q4 that we did, we had some issues. This is such a soft metal that we couldn't really pull it out. I don't know if if you got the exhaust good and hot first, if it would come out easier. I'm not certain on that. But the other one, basically, we had to destroy it to get it out. We'll see if we have to do the same on this or if we get luckier. I'm just trying to send some needle nose down there as far as I can. See, the soft metal breaks apart really easily. And don't want it to, I don't want any pieces left in the exhaust. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. There's a wire core. I just destroyed it because we aren't ever going to put the stock exhaust back on this. So I wasn't really too worried about it, as long as there's no pieces left behind, really. But like I say, it's some sort of graphite or, you know, really soft metal that is just designed to make a seal in there. You just want to make sure there's no pieces and stuff left. I'm gonna grab that FMF, buddy. Now, like I say, the alignment on these was a little different from the FMF to the stock. So we're gonna see, looks like this one's gonna line up right on the outside, but we'll see here in a minute. Like I say, the Q4 didn't line up. Yeah, actually this lines up nicer than the Q4 did, actually quite a bit. So I'll throw that flange back on there. And there is, I think in the service manual they tell you where this needs to be positioned. It's kind of a no-brainer. You want it in there so you can still get on it with a ratchet, and where you could tighten it if you ever had to or anything like that. I just got to loosen it up a little bit. Yeah, like I say, they tell you how many degrees it should be turned at, but we're just gonna put it back about where it was and tighten it down good. We did notice too that on the Q4 we had to go back and we tightened that again once the bike was hot. It doesn't, without that little piece in there, which you absolutely can't use if you're running the FMF. Without that little piece in there, it did leak a little around here. So you just gotta make sure once it gets hot, you tighten everything down. Okay, so FMF doesn't give instructions, which I hate, and there's not much online as far as this goes. Now, it can't really line up to the inside because what happens is it pushes the muffler body like in under the fender, and it's not even straight to the bike. So mounting inside is not an option. And the only way to reuse the stock hardware is to forego this little clip they send. So this little clip that they send, I'm not even going to use it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bolt that was here previously. Is going to go right back in this position with the little plastic spacer on it. So that'll hit the rubber. There's rubber on the inside of that plastic, and that should work just like factory. And then I'm going to use the shorter bolt, the stock bolt, and that's going to go right back in the top with a washer and a nut on the back. So I'll get that together and show you what it looks like. Okay, so we ran into this on the Q4 too. I really don't like what FMF has going on with the hardware and stuff they supply. So I didn't have another metric nut. I just didn't have one kicking around. So I wanted to use this one. It's captured on this. You know, there's another piece of steel that goes across here that I just cut out with a grinder real quick, just because I needed that nut. It's captured in there and you can't get it out. So I'm gonna use that for the backside of one of them on the bike because, like I said, I just didn't have another one kicking around. So I'll put it all together and show you what it looks like. So I would suggest, you know, maybe just planning a little trip to the hardware store just to make sure you've got, you know, if you want to buy another washer and another nut so you don't have to destroy your stock exhaust, you could do that. So I'm just going to get a washer and nut on the backside of each one of these. And like I say, I may not be installing this right. I mean, who knows really, given that FMF doesn't have any instructions on this. But like I say, this is the only way that makes any sense to me. Otherwise the alignment of the muffler is all wrong, and it just doesn't make any sense. And besides lining up weird underneath the fender if you don't mount it on the outside, it doesn't sit in here right. It tweaks that whole exhaust and pushes it really hard. So I'm going to go ahead and snug down this clamp first, just so I know that I've got good alignment on it. Like I said, you don't have to go crazy on this. I'm sure there's a torque spec for it somewhere. I would just get it nice and tight, and then plan on tightening it again once you get the bike good and hot. There's that. Then you just need a 12mm open end wrench on the back side of these. And these are lock nuts, so you don't have to go crazy on these either. Show you real quick what that looks like. So by doing it this way, you keep the hardware in the stock location, so that still sticks out just like stock. This one, same thing. It mounts nice and clean this way. There's nothing sticking out in the backside into the fender well or anything. If that bolt was a little longer in the back, it'd be nice. But at least this keeps the stock location. I'll throw the plastics back on, and we'll get this thing running. We'll compare the sound of this to the Q4. If you've been following the channel, we've been doing some modifications to each of them. This is an FMF Q4 exhaust that we did previously. So we've got some clips of that with the sound. And this is an FMF Powercore4. So we're going to go ahead and do a cold start of both of these, and then we're going to do some, a little bit of revving and some flybys and stuff. So go ahead and fire up the Powercore, bud. So I'm going to stand at the same distance behind this thing, give you an idea what each one sounds like. So that was the Powercore4. Now we're going to go ahead and start up the Q4. Like I said, both cold starts, and I'm standing about the same distance behind. The Q4 has a turn down tip, and as you can see, it's quite a bit quieter. All right, now we'll head out and we'll get you some flybys and some better sounds of it. All right, so we're out here. We'll get some flybys and stuff for you. So seat of the pants horsepower numbers are good on these pipes. They seem to both make a big difference. That was the Q4. And he wasn't really getting on it hard, but that was the Powercore. You can tell the difference. I mean, the Powercore is way louder. And honestly, I didn't notice a performance difference from one to the other. So if you're looking for just noise, I guess, the Powercore4, and it has a removable spark arrestor. The Q4, I believe the spark arrestor is not removable. So we'll do a quick pull on both of them. We'll take off with the Q4 first, and then the Powercore. I'll give you an idea what they sound like under load. All right, now the Powercore. Like I say, it's a massive difference in sound. The Powercore is way louder, so if you're looking for something quiet, definitely the Q4. And like I say, I didn't notice a huge performance difference between either one. It did feel like a huge improvement over stock on both of them, but from one pipe to the other, not a big difference. So if you're, you know, looking to have it loud, a little bit more thunder, I guess the Powercore4 is your pipe. So all right, well, stay tuned. We're gonna do more mods to these, and subscribe and stay posted.